municipal planning and VORAC, VOREC, town hall landscaping, set tax rate, zoning bylaws, zoning administrator, road fund, transfer station agreement, Hoosick River Hydro, public comment, executive session legal, executive session contractual. Adjourn. Can I entertain a motion, please?
Do we have to change the agenda?
Nope, I don't
I
think
thought there was a
so.
couple things we needed to add.
It's already been added. The sheriffs and Fred. She just didn't put it in there.
Also, the other sets of minutes
There's
and,
other
Yep,
minutes.
there's other minutes. You want me to
And
announce them?
warrants.
Yeah, we have to change the agenda. We can't.
Okay.
If we don't change the agenda, we can't act on those things that
Okay,
aren't on it.
gotcha.
warrants
Right.
was also not on there.
Right, and I said that, yep,
Okay.
Well, that's a change from the agenda that was printed.
right, yep, okay.
So we have to change all
So
that.
we need to approve the minutes of July 22nd, public hearing July 27th, special July 27th, and public hearing July 29th. We need to add warrants. Anything else?
What else did you have on there, Joel?
The executive session is for Fred and the executive session contractual is for Joe Howard if he needs it. He said if he needed it. Okay? With that change, can I entertain a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the agenda with the corrections.
Thank you. Second?
Second it.
Any discussion? Mike?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
Ronnie?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Angie, aye. Thank you. Okay,
I don't think we need to do a roll call vote anymore when we're all here.
Not if we're president.
okay,
Don't believe so.
all right. I guess only if somebody's on Zoom, right? Okay. Approval of minutes of July 22nd, 2021.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussions? Aye.
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 Any opposed?
I gotta abstain, I wasn't there.
Okay. Public hearing July 27th. Can I entertain a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second it.
Any discussion? Mike?
Abstain.
Jamie?
Aye.
Ronnie?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Angie, aye. Special meeting July 27th.
So moved.
What was that 27th special meeting for?
It was to set the town picnic date. Correct? Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yep.
correct. So did I have a second? I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mike?
Abstain.
Oh, okay. Jamie?
Aye.
Aye.
Ronnie? Bob?
Aye.
Angie, aye. Sorry, habit. Public hearing July 29th.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any-
Abstain.
Okay, thank you. All right. Warrants. Payroll, 7/30/21 for 9,969.76. Can I entertain a motion? You're not on this one.
Okay.
You're on the last one.
So moved. I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Does this mouse go to anything that if I move it, I'm not gonna do anything, right?
So.
Payroll ending 8/6/21 and the amount of $10,558.85. Can I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second it.
That's payroll.
Payroll.
8/6/21. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Mike, you're on this one. Payroll 8/13/21 for 9,995.26. Can I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Thank you. Accounts payable 7/30/21 in the amount of $47,030.37. Can I entertain a motion?
So moved. I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Accounts payable 7/29. This is, what does draw mean?
First.
First draw of the payment of the new town hall and for $61,752.64. This
So
is
moved.
for the new town hall. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is accounts payable for 8/13 and the amount of $58,874.48. Can I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'd like to open up for public only on the warrants for any questions, please. Please raise your hand. Megan, is there anybody out there?
There's no one raising their hand.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to correspondence. I had an email from a resident that had a problem with a four-wheeler coming out at 4 a.m. making a lot of noise. I would just like to say that everybody that rides a four-wheeler, please stay on the roads that you're supposed to be on. Please be respectful of people. And please try, if you're coming out and it is late, you got lost or you were drinking or waiting or whatever, please drive slowly and carefully and not loud. And I'd also like, Megan, for you to put that back up on the website of the rules and regulations for the ATVs, please.
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you very much. Doesn't hurt to put it up every once in a while to just remind people, especially now that they're using it.
Just a quick comment, that when you say that, you mean the traffic ordinance, right?
Yes, the ATV ordinance, sorry.
Well, no, it's the
The
traffic.
traffic ordinance, right, for the ATV,
If you're drinking, you should call somebody.
right.
Yeah, you
But
should.
sometimes
you know.
they go in the woods and they drink and they wait until they're sober before they come out. But I mean, come out at 4 o'clock in the morning and make a bunch of noise. It's not okay,
We're not here to advise people, we're just here to watch over them.
That's right.
right? Okay, the next thing is, the nature controversy, not controversy.
Seen as
Conservatory,
Conservatory. Oh, my goodness. They're in the process of purchasing the 37.05 Cleveland Corporation property as an addition to our Quarry Hill Nature Area. You gave your approval for this project on May 13th. And this is just a letter saying that,
They're still under correspondence, correct?
yes, still under correspondence. Julie wanted me to read this. Remembering the victims of COVID-19. All Vermonters are invited to attend a statewide memorial service to honor Vermonters lost in COVID-19 and to bring healing to our spirits, including a ceremonial reading of all the names of all who have died. This will be Sunday, September 19th at 3 p.m., the State House lawn in Montpelier, Vermont. And then I would also like to remind everybody that the Pownal Community Weekend is August 20th through the 22nd. On Friday at 8/20 at 8 p.m. There'll be an outdoor movie night hosted by the Faith Church at the baseball field on 346. Please bring your chair. On Saturday, 8/21 from 9 to 11 a.m. There's going to be Junction Cafe open house on 82 Main Street. Also on Saturday, 8/21 from 3 to 6, there's going to be fun at the field hosted by the Pownal Youth Baseball, Route 346, kickball tournament and inflatables. And then also on Sunday, 8/22 from 2 to 4, we're going to have our annual town picnic, which is hosted by the Parks and Rec at the Center Street Park right out here, and food and drinks are going to be provided. Please bring your own chair.
Well, Just one thing
Okay, go ahead.
on the picnic on that Sunday. I believe that the management team for the town hall is gonna have a poster board, for lack of a better term, I guess, set up with some plans, kind of what it is, anybody's looking at the site plan, anybody wants to see what's going on, the building itself, the floor plan of the building, it will be available for view that day on the same plans that everybody's working off.
Okay, great. Okay, moving on to right-of-way permit.
This right-of-way permit's been approved by Joel.
Yes, it's the one that we
Yeah,
tabled
I
last time.
just, that's right.
All right,
Joel's already taken and marked the 50-foot right away with white paint on the road. So after finding more about it, I have no problem with us making a motion to take care of it.
I'm moving, proceed with the right-of-way permit from Michael Early.
okay, do I have a second?
Second,
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Prioritizing grants. Rebecca, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good evening, Rebecca.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Okay, I'm hot, but it's
Are we
hot.
all?
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to talk quickly about two grants and kind of get your go ahead to start pursuing them more in depth. With the Parks and Rec Committee, we had been talking for a while about the idea of getting a municipal planning grant for the purposes of starting to get some planning done in that village green, including Center Street Park. However, I heard through the grapevine, and I'm going to reach out and speak to the Planning Commission after I speak with you guys tonight, that they are interested in a municipal planning grant this year to work on the assignment that you gave them, which is finding industrial zoning. And so Kat Briers from the BCRC reached out to me, and she said she thought it would be a really great idea, that we're definitely up for a municipal planning grant. The money is there for us for Pownal. The state would love to give it to us. And what she was suggesting is that we could do an entire land survey of all the lands of Pownal and talk about their zoning and do that in-depth search for creating that industrial district, which is what you guys had asked them to do. So because that seemed so appropriate for them to do that work with a planning grant, I talked to Kat about the VOREC grants, which are more for kind of outdoor recreation. I believe they cover a bunch of things, but outdoor recreation is a big part of it, and planning can be a part of it. So I'd like to start pursuing the VOREC grant. It's a minimum ask of $50,000 for permanent development at the Center Street Park. Like for instance, a permanent pavilion, but doing the engineering study to make sure we're not, would we need parking? Would we need to be ADA compliant? So I'm looking at trying to potentially go get money to get professional planning for that park, and then money to do the project. Those are the two grants that we're looking at.
Nice.
And I don't know if you have any questions about either one of those programs or what I know so far about them. But what I kind of would like is, I don't think you have to vote on it, just kind of a yes, go ahead, unless someone has an objection. I'm going to start doing some more in-depth work on that, since especially I'm only working on things that you tell me to do. So I'm asking, I'm not going to just go do that without you telling me to go ahead.
Right.
The one question I have, Rebecca, is
Yeah.
if we were awarded the municipal planning grant, who would be the facilitator? Would that be Tim? Or would it fall on the planning commission?
It would be about the planning commission. This is something I didn't know actually, but now I do. Municipal planning grants come out every year, and every year there's a possibility that that we could get one of these. We can apply. There are some communities apparently that apply every single year for a planning grant, and so one town only can get one, and so with what you ask the planning commission to do, it would be the planning commission doing that work. Although you guys would find the consultant. We'd be paying a consultant to help do that land survey. It would be up to the board to put out the RFP and find that person. But then the planning commission, same with the bylaws planning grant. You know what I'm saying? It's the same program.
Yeah, that was a municipal planning grant. That was going to be my next, yeah,
Yes. Yep.
Right, I just wanted to be clear on who the
No, Tim,
facilitator would be.
Tim, just like all grants, the way we've kind of structured it here in Pownal is that, I'm helping write them. And Tim is doing the back end, the budgeting and making sure that the funds are accounted for and audited back to the state.
Okay,
And these aren't, it's not one or the other, right? This is, we can get a municipal planning grant to help with the finding industrial and doing a full survey or whatever you want to call it, to decide how to zone everything, which I thought was what we did with the bylaws, but.
Well, you did, but we've never had an in-depth land survey done from what I understand, which is a completely different process. Now I can find out more information about that. The planning commission can find out more information about that.
And that,
Yep.
oh, sorry. And that's separate from the Vortec, which is more about developing the park area.
Yes. So the
Is that
VORAC, here's the thing is that the reason why I wrote prioritizing grants was that I thought I was going to come to you tonight and say, hey, we have these two projects and we want to get a municipal planning grant, but we can only apply for one project. And I was going to ask you to prioritize one over the other. But since I've got that on the agenda, I've talked to Pat, and there is a more appropriate grant for the Center Street Park, and it can include, some of that cost can include professional planning. So now I'm not asking for you to prioritize one of those projects or the other. I'm asking for the go ahead. There's now an appropriate grant for each of those programs. We don't have to choose. And I just want that, I'm asking for, the blessing to spend some hours on it.
Is there any
Welcome
match
to.
required by the town?
Is there a what?
Any match required by the town?
No.
I mean, I'm in favor of moving forward with it.
Me too.
I have no problem with it whatsoever.
And again, that's going to be the municipal planning grant and then investigating what's the most appropriate for developing the park.
Yes, but I'm going to pass the municipal planning grant for the land surveys over to the planning commission. So I'm going to send out an email to them this week so they can talk about it at their next meeting and decide who's really taking the lead on that. And then I can pass that there. I will help them write the grant. But they're really going to do the bulk of the work. And then the VORAC will go to the Parks and Rec committee and same thing. I'm going to really have them kind of do a lot of that legwork, but I will help write it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
That
thank
sounds
you.
really good. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right, now we're moving on to town hall landscaping. That's also you too, Rebecca?
that is. So Margaret Cody, who lives in Pownal, approached me with what I think is a really great idea, and she would like to take the lead on that. So the idea is she would like to gather a group of gardening enthusiasts from Pownal, maybe some local gardening clubs. She just took the Master Gardener program at the UVM extension program, and she would like to design and plant a pollinator landscape for the new town hall. So it would be perennials that come back every year. It would require very little maintenance, but it brings the pollinators, so the butterflies and the bees and the hummingbirds and it's just the seed of an idea right now. But what she is looking for, and I guess what I am looking for, is if the select board would approve her and for me to start finding people who might be willing to do this with her, to do a little PR on it, get it out there. And then she would like to come back in September with an official plan to propose to you for doing this landscaping. I think it's a great idea. We're talking about doing this with community labor. Also, we're going to try and get people that have these gardens. They divide them up in the fall. They divide up their perennials. We're going to try and source these plants as cheaply or as free as possible. So I'm looking for some approval to kind of start that, and she'll come with a official proposal to you guys in September.
I think it's a good idea.
I'd love to have community involvement in the
Absolutely.
landscaping on the town hall. I think it's a great idea.
Yep.
Okay. Great. That was
Thank
it.
you.
Those are all my things, I think.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yep. I'll stay on just in case you need me for something else.
Okay. Moving on to set the tax rate. So the tax rate is gonna be, for this 2021 tax rate, town general tax is 0.3165, local agreed state ed tax is 0.0028, town road tax is 0.2990, for a total municipal tax of 0.6183. Sewer bond flat tax partial is developed 75, undeveloped is 37.5. State education tax, homestead is 1.3478, non-residential is 1.5533. Total town plus state education tax, homestead rate would be 1.9661 plus the $75 bond. Non-residential would be 2.1716 plus the bond of $75. And the taxes will be due November 10th, 2021. This is corrected because we had to wait for the homestead
Education.
and the education, yes, because of COVID. So can I entertain a motion to accept?
I'll move we accept the tax rate as set.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
The only discussion I just want to make the announcement to make sure that people hear it, because we're setting a tax rate. We have no leeway in this. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. Well, we have to set the tax rate based on what the voters approved for a budget
Right, and
Right.
based on state aid.
and based on the other things that we don't
Right.
have control over.
All the variables that go along with setting a tax rate, our hands are tied. It's just numbers, and whatever the numbers come up, that's what the tax rate is.
Right, exactly.
That's exactly right.
There's no, we don't have a choice.
That's just like on the school board,
I think
2%.
I'm not sure if the taxes went down, the tax rate. I think the town tax rate,
It was almost flat. I think it's the last page. I think
The last
like
page?
half a cent.
yeah, it was, I remember that conversation with Ellen. It was basically a flat tax rate from last year,
Yep,
which is
good.
pretty good.
Very
The town portion, you mean?
Yes, absolutely, yep. Okay, so I have a motion on, I have a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Zoning bylaws? Are we just approving them because of,
I didn't put that on. That wasn't me.
I don't know. Okay.
Megan?
Yes, you have to vote to approve them
It's a
Right.
vote, right?
Okay,
after
why we-
post public hearing.
right, okay, that's right. Thank you.
Right.
So we have to vote to,
I move that we adopt the zoning bylaws that we had the last two previous public hearings on.
Second it.
any discussion?
Just with the understanding that we do have some supplements coming. We've asked the planning commission to do some additional work. But this is to get these zoning bylaws, which are better than the current ones, in effect now.
Right.
They're more streamlined, or at least that's the assessment of the board.
Right,
At least we think.
we hope.
Yes.
Okay. You made the motion, did you second it?
I think.
Jamie did, okay, second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Zoning administrator, Mike, that's you.
That is me. So I wanted to bring to the board's attention, I've done this, in the past, obviously, and we talked about it. We get some situations going on in our forest zone specifically right now. We have some illegal building. We have some, so I've been told by some pretty reputable sources, some illegal septic systems in our forest zone. And I've been in contact with Jim Sullivan about this from BCRC. And, in my opinion, I think we need to go, there's certain things that are allowed and are not allowed in our forest zone.
Right.
And I think as a board, not even as me as the zoning administrator, but I think us as the board need to protect our forest zone. That's why they're there. And it could get a little bit nasty if we do this. So I just kind of wanted to bring it to your attention, and see what direction you want to go in.
What would be the first step? Would we send them a letter and saying that you're doing something improper in the
I think,
forest zone?
yeah, I think we need to send them a letter. I think we need to put a zoning, which is me. When properties are sold in town, I do zoning verifications. And I do them, and then Tim, we look through the stuff, and then Tim sends them to whoever notarizes them and sends them. So I think we need to put a violation on these properties. I think it needs to go through the listers. I don't know the exact process because I've never done it yet, but I think it needs to be put into, so Julie's made aware of it, so that when an attorney comes in and I think it's on any piece of property, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's, whether it's in the forest zone or not, I think that's probably what we need to do.
So did permits not be taken out for these
No
situations?
permits,
Nothing through DRB or anything else?
no permits in the forest zone. I do have a permit right now that, I'm gonna deal with that. There's a permit here, but the same thing we did on Barbers Pond Road. The building's already started taking place. I'm gonna make them tear it down, or I'm gonna put a zoning violation on that, on that permit application, on that particular piece of property. I think, our planning commission spent a lot of time on the zoning bylaws.
Yes.
And not just this set of bylaws, but every set of bylaws that's probably been written.
Right.
And they spend a lot of time for a reason. And then we as a board spent time on public hearings and adopting the bylaws this time. And I still, we do it for a reason. We do it for a reason. And if we're not gonna follow the bylaws and adhere to the bylaws, then
Why have?
let's have a free-for-all.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%.
So,
We're not gonna enforce what we're preaching.
Right. I agree.
I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention that that's where I'm going.
So would you like a motion for you to move?
No, I don't think I need a motion, really. I mean,
Okay.
you guys can do what you want. I'm here as a zoning administrator, not as a select board member right now. I just, this has been going on for a little bit. The town office has eaten every spare minute getting that going, and we're in good shape with that. That's another story. So now I can kind of attack this zoning problem right now.
So is this something that we can get information through the zoning handbook? Or do we need to look elsewhere, between our policies and state regs for forestry? As far as proceeding forward, I guess,
Well,
so we can.
so
follow
when
procedure.
I talk with Jim Sullivan, the first thing is to try to start out with a letter. Unfortunately, there's already a building on a slab and constructed, and so I don't know what we do with that. Yeah. It's my property. I'm gonna do what I want with it attitude that people have, and no matter what, if it's in the forest zone or not.
At the very least, then they should be fine.
Yep.
the very
No, I
least.
agree. And I think we need to set the tone for future, that's for sure. Because if we continue that in the forest zone, we're not gonna have a forest zone anymore. It's just gonna be gone.
Right.
Just won't have it.
Yep.
So you might as well do away with that district.
Is it illegal because no building can go up there, or is it illegal because they didn't come before the DRB and get approval?
Kind of both.
Kind of both.
So had they come before the DRB, it would have been refused.
I don't know the dimensions. There's in the forest zone, I don't know the dimensions of this particular construction, this building. I know that Wastewater is not permitted in the forest zone.
Okay.
Um,
So if there's septic there, that would be a zoning violation.
right, I mean, there are certain criteria for it. I don't think this one falls under it. I haven't really researched this one out completely. But I know the building does not qualify in the forest zone that's going up there. There's a certain square footage that you have to have and, a maximum square footage that you can have. It can't be a residence,
Yeah, 365 residents.
you know, there's a lot of criteria for it. In this particular one that I'm talking about right now, they didn't do anything. They just hired a contractor, which brings me to the point that I think as a town, I don't know how to do this, and I'm going to talk with Dan Monks in Bennington. I think when a contractor comes in and does something in town like that without having the permit, I think the contractor should be fined.
Well, that's a legal question though, right?
Right,
That's-
right. And I, I'm going to talk with Dan Monks in Bennington, and see what Bennington does about that. But I think if somebody comes in and puts in a septic system in the forest zone, knowing it's in the forest zone, I think the contractor should be fined.
That sounds reasonable to me. I know when we
Right.
work on our house, we make sure it's the contractor's.
Right,
The
you have to make
contractor
sure they have
goes and gets
insurance
the-
and all that stuff. You would think that a contractor would want to make sure that somebody had a
Right.
permit.
Same thing with
Contractor
building.
Talking to the landowner saying, here, you're required to get these.
Exactly.
But as the contractor, you should require proof of, and I'm not trying to be,
No, I
No,
understand.
you're
I'm trying to be
100% right on
some
that.
kind of really tough place to make things happen. I just think things need to happen on the up and up, and we're not doing that,
Okay.
totally.
I agree with sending a letter and moving forward with this.
Well, yeah, we're gonna, and I just wanted to give you guys a heads up of where it's going, because I'm sure we're gonna hear about it.
Okay,
There's gonna be no doubt that we're gonna hear about it.
It's based on height.
I think that's how it is. I think that's part of it, Ronnie, is the elevation.
I thought.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I think there's some other criteria in it too.
Well, I know that the height has a, because you're not supposed to build over a certain height to start with.
Right.
As far as the septic systems, I know that, well, they're disallowed. They've been disallowed for years.
I mean,
Right.
there's some pre-existing that were way beyond that ruling and they were grandfathered in, but very.
Well, and there's also, which I have to research out a little bit more. There's also a 25 acre clause in there for certain types of systems.
Okay,
But I don't want to speak on that because I haven't,
right,
I don't know it.
right.
So I don't know what it is. I need to make sure what I'm talking about before I talk about that. I believe there is a provision for a wastewater system, but it has to, I think it's 25 acres and it can only be used so many days of the year. And there's a whole plan laid out for that. But I haven't researched it out, so I don't want to speak on that.
okay. Does anybody have any more questions for Mike?
Thanks for your work on that, Mike.
All right. Moving on to road fund. What was this for?
So there's two things. There was one, I believe Joel had sent everyone an email regarding screening for the sand.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
In which, so he just wants to hear from you all that it's okay. I can read the email.
And that's Martin, I believe, one that.
I
think
yeah,
that-
Yeah.
he sent out, Joel sent out, RFPs for the winter sand, Basin, Hunter, and William Barney were the three that bid on it. William Barney was,
Very good.
by far the least expensive. He's done it for the past few years anyways. Joel talked to me about this. I moved that we, have William Barney put up our winter sand, as has happened in the past few years.
I second.
Beat you to it.
Okay.
Second twice.
I didn't hear it. Sorry.
That's 2 seconds.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and then this is,
Oh, you got it?
I have it right here. Per request of the road foreman, I am asking the select board to allow the quarters of the highway supplement state stimulus the town is receiving from the state to be put into the capital fund. The road foreman did speak with someone from the state. The first amount is $3,667.47.
Make a motion to move the money into the capital.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
In the road fund,
Road
yes.
fund, yeah.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Joel. All right, transfer station agreement.
Forget the email though.
So this is picking up from where we left off at the last meeting in regards.
Right, which was very confusing.
Yeah, so what it boils down to is that what they're asking us to sign is the difference of what it's gonna take to build the facility after everything, the grants will all apply, but basically what it comes down to is we don't care about that piece. It's gonna cost $120,000 to build the additional to build the transfer station piece in Bennington through the BCSWA.
Yep.
Our portion of that is $12,000. That is what,
Over, how long is that period, Tim? Because wasn't it over or is it a one time?
it's a one-time and
Okay.
to build the facility by, I believe it's 2025 to have it finished and
Okay,
running.
that's, okay, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yes. So $12,072 is the bottom line that.
And,
That was a one-time deal,
Yes.
and if I remember correctly, we had $17,000 budgeted
budgeted, yes, we
for
did.
hazardous waste.
Right.
We do, what I understand is that won't cover all of the 12, but it will cover some of it. Because there's whatever portion that was for, originally, what we do now with the hazardous waste reimbursements and all of that.
And I think if I remember right, Ellen came up with, we spend about 9,000 historically the last.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
4 or
somewhere
5
between
years
9 and
or whatever.
12,000, somewhere in there.
Right.
Right.
So the $12,000 isn't gonna come, I guess what I'm saying is we have a portion of the $12,000 budgeted already in that transfer station. It's just a matter of how much is budgeted in there
Right.
with the 17,000.
And we won't have the fees after this is built of what we're getting charged now for the, wasn't it like,
Yeah, because they're gonna do user fees, I think.
I think they're
Right.
doing.
And,
Yes.
and user
Yes.
fees.
Once the facility is up and running. that's
Right.
all.
Right.
okay.
I move that we enter into the transfer station agreement.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Hoosick River Hydro.
Okay, so this is also a continuation from what we started last time. Do you have any questions for that was open-ended questions at all? Essentially, what it comes down to is the Hoosick Hydro agreement we have now is two parts.
Right.
There's the lease side of it, which is not what we're talking about now.
Correct.
But what that means is that Hoosick River Hydro is leasing from us the land for the hydro property. They pay us a lease payment, and it's roughly around $8,000 to $9,000 per year based on the volume that goes through the 2% of the gross that goes through the plant. That term right now is 30 years, with Hoosick having an option for 2 additional 10-year payments. So that brings us to 50 years. That was signed in 2016. Now, the net metering side, which is what their request is affecting, is for us to receive and to continue to receive a 5% discount on 8 accounts we have with Green Mountain Power. And right now, the term of that is for 10 years with the option to extend for another 10 years. And we entered into that in August of 2016. And to date, the town has saved about $4,700 through that 5% reduction in the cost of the electricity
This year?
No,
Total.
total.
over
2016.
4 years. since-
That's,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, so it roughly comes to about $1,000 to $1,500 a year, somewhere in there that we save. And the accounts are, if I remember correctly, it's this building, the current town hall, and a lot of the pump stations
Yeah.
at, for the wastewater facility, including
And
the
they wanted to extend that from
To
10 years
match it.
to
45 years.
45 years.
Yes.
But our question was, they have an opt-out. Can we opt out?
So no, there are no options. And that with the, we only have the option to extend 10 years with the current agreement. There are no options with the one they want to go to for 45
So
years.
if we enter into the 45 years, we can never opt out of it if we have another choice from somebody else that gives us more than 5%.
That's correct. The only way you can really break that side of the agreement is if they no longer produce power.
Right.
Now, the only thing to keep in mind is it's Green Mountain Power. So something would have to happen
To them.
to them
Right.
for us to even receive another type of
The other
option.
thing is whether or not the state is gonna advance more credits.
Right.
So if the state, because they put a hold on. And we could end up losing these after 10 years also,
Right.
because the state's not allowing them.
I agree.
So you're flipping a coin.
His response to me when I've spoken to him is that if we were not to do this, he would just have the medical facility pick up on it. They've signed
Right.
signed everything to extend it, to maintain it.
So if we didn't pick up on it, would we would lose the 5%?
Yes.
Is that correct?
After the current.
After the current 10 years?
10 years, we would.
That would not just, we don't have an option to just let that continue at 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. He wants to go to a 45 to make it 50 years. And other than that, he'll go somewhere else.
But we have one more option of a 10-year in the contract right now.
Correct.
Presently. So we could get one
We
more
could
10 years.
15 years essentially extended
Okay.
from today.
So.
Yeah, that my personal opinion is that sounds less risky than a 45-year commitment.
I don't, we're saving $1,000 a year right now. Basically is what we're saving total. And
It's $45,000 in 45 years.
yeah, but $1,000 a year saving on the electric. And then we enter into a 45-year agreement that we can't get out
Out
of.
of, exactly.
But our point is that with what's on the table right now, what we're currently in, it will extend us for another 15 years, right? Because there's a 10-year, we have 5 more on the current 10,
Yeah.
and then there'll be another 10. So we're really talking about asking to extend this another 30 years beyond the 15 that we already have.
Correct.
So it's not
So,
45.
okay, yeah, so we're locked in for 15 years now as it is.
Basically.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I guess, it feels to me with something that long, and might just be my own bias, that's a pretty long commitment.
A lot
not
can
knowing.
change in 45 years.
Exactly.
A lot.
And we already have 15 years. My guess is, I'm just guessing, that if 15 years, if this program is really working, he'll put another offer on the table. I mean, if it's working for him and it's working for us.
Well, it depends on what the
But why-
state offers him for the credits.
I-
What he can
A
offer.
lot can happen in 15
I have a
years.
I know that.
I have a problem entering into an agreement that's saving us $1,000 a year for 45 years,
Well, that-
or for
no,
30 years, basically.
no
is what it is.
Sound like a lot to me.
No,
No,
No.
not at all.
I'm not in favor of it.
But it's
It's just me.
that and a no opt-out.
I think
The no opt-out is what bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm
Exactly,
not
because
in
that's why
favor of it.
he said he has an opt-out, but we don't.
I don't
How
like
is
being
that
locked in.
fair
I don't
to the
like,
town of Pownal?
I don't want to lock
Taxpayers,
that's right. I don't want to lock in the constituents of the town of Pownal for,
45 years.
45 years.
yeah, basically it's 45, 30 more than what they are now for $1,000 a year.
And I do want to make
If it's
this point though
50,000.
too. I mean, I do want to make another point. It's just that, I think we've been doing this for 5 years. It has worked out. We have been saving money. I think, the organization that we went into business with here 5 years ago, has held up their end. I don't want this to be a negative because we
Right.
don't want to,
Right, no.
because we don't want to go in for a 45-year commitment. Doesn't mean we're dissatisfied at all with what we're doing.
No, exactly.
It feels too long.
Right. Without an opt-out,
Without an opt-out.
if we had an opt-out, then if the town had an opt-out
They can include that.
at any point, whatever point that is, or several points or whatever, however it was set up, then I'd be in favor of it totally. But without having the opt-out
Right,
clause for the town, I'm not in favor of it.
Could you get back to him and ask him if he could put in an opt-out for us?
What would you like?
I think if it was in my opinion, and I'm just one person, but if the opt-outs were similar for both
Parties, exactly.
I think I'd be in favor of it. If it was,
Like,
if it was a similar opt-out.
If we're, say for some reason they didn't pay us like they're supposed to, and a certain amount of time went by, we should be able to opt out of
I don't.
our agreement.
The other thing is, ask him if you could ask him if he would be agreeable to a shorter term and something with a renewal. That's kind of why the renewal was there to begin with.
Correct.
So
Right.
that there wasn't this long range commitment. I mean, a super long commitment. That feels better to me because then if it's working for both parties, we both have every reason to re-up,
Get in the game.
Exactly.
and if it's not working for both parties, then either party that it's not working for. I mean, that's the whole relationship. When you sell something and you buy something, it benefits both parties. That's why it happens.
Right.
Okay.
So I don't think anybody is willing to agree with the 50 years.
But it sounds
No.
like.
Not at this, I mean,
Not at
I
this
think,
time.
I think we can reach out to them and ask them those questions.
Right.
And then, certainly revisit it at the next meeting
Absolutely.
or whatever. I'm totally in favor of that.
Up to Tim to negotiate that contract.
Didn't know if you had
I just
anything
think
to
we should
add.
have an out. That's all there is to it. All right, moving on. Public
Ed?
comment. Is there anybody out there? Please remember to raise your hand, and when you speak, please state your full name. Thank you. Megan, is there anybody out there?
No one's raising their hand.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I need a motion to go into executive session for legal with Fred Miller, our.
Hey, Jim's got his hand raised and so did I. I don't know how to do it on board, but Jim's hand is raised. He's got a hand up there.
Okay,
Okay, sorry.
thank you.
Hello, I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Mindy. Number one, first of all.
Megan,
Megan.
can you please, take that person out of the room? Please, they didn't state their full name. As asked.
I've asked every single meeting, please raise your hand and state your full name. That is required by open.
My hand
meeting
is
law.
raised and my
Thank
name is
you.
Mindy Jo Eunice Harrington.
Thank you.
Okay. I got a few questions. I don't know if you guys are the right people to ask or not, but I don't know where else to start.
We're on
Who do you
public
go
comment.
talk-
You may ask.
Okay. All right. So who do you talk to about getting property reassessed for tax purposes? The listers?
That would be correct.
Right. Listen.
Okay. What about permits to tear down a condemned house?
ERB, or zoning.
Don't need a permit to tear anything down.
So I can just go down there and tear down Harvey's house?
Yep.
Okay,
Well, if
that's
she owns
awesome.
If you own it, that's a legal
Well,
question.
no, hey,
As far
wait a
as the
minute,
town,
wait, now,
as far as the
I was
town's
told by
concerned,
my-
you can do whatever you want.
I was told by my lawyer that I have to ask the town. Because I'm the executor of this estate over here.
But if you don't legally own it, I don't think you could, that would be a question to speak to the lawyer about.
Not our lawyer.
Right, not
Not
ours.
our
I
lawyer.
already did talk to my lawyer. I just said, ma'am, that, and he told me to talk to the select board. Told me to go to the town. I feel like I'm chasing my tail here, and I don't even have one. The next thing I have a big issue with, and I don't mean to sound rude or disrespectful in any way, so please don't think I am. But what exactly are the powers of the town clerk? Does she have the right to give people permission to move in on property she doesn't own?
That's not for us
That's
to
not
answer.
for us to answer. That is for her to answer. She's separate from us.
I actually already talked to her.
Okay?
And she told me she gave them permission. And when I asked her how she could do that, she just said she could, which I don't understand. Her position, okay, I understand she's separate from you guys. However,
Well,
don't you
everything goes through the
understand?
state with Julie, correct?
Well, yeah,
Excuse me, Mindy. Everything goes through the state with Julie.
The state. So direct me in the right direction then. I think she's a wonderful human being. I think she's an awesome woman. However, she's overstepped here and caused problems that didn't need to be caused without even knowing she did.
You have a minute left, Mindy Jo.
Indeed.
Yeah.
This is Harry Person. I think that your best avenue right now is to email the board with specifics, because we don't have time to take and discuss all the issues I think that you're
Well, I've did
trying
a
to
lot
ask
of
us.
emailing
And
and
but if-
nobody even, I did a lot of emailing and nobody got back to me. Not Mike, not Angie, not nobody.
That's not true. I returned your emails, but anyways,
but because I think there's specifics that we don't know about, and that's one thing this board won't answer for the town clerk without knowing all the
no answer for anybody.
right
Or the state.
facts and all that
Or the
stuff.
state.
She left the room.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else out there? Please
I
raise your
actually
hand.
have a question. It's for Rebecca. Do you want me to stay for the executive?
It's totally up to you. I mean, I don't think it would hurt.
Okay. I just wanted to ask that before you made motions for that. Thank
Okay,
you.
you're welcome, Rebecca.
Oh, Jim Costa still have his hand up?
I don't know.
Yes, he does. Jim?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. My name is Jim Kosas, North Mason Hill Road. I apologize for not saying my name before. First of all, I'd like to just say I really appreciate you continuing to talk about the extension of the hydro thing. And also, I just like to know if we could somehow get a full report from the zoning administrator concerning the racetrack and a lot of the development around, or not development, but a lot of the places around Pownal, specifically within a half a mile within the rescue center, that really is deteriorating the town and stuff like that. Even up near, again, a half a mile around the Dollar General, that certain things have got to happen. And I'm just wondering where all of this is happening. The second thing, or the last thing I just wanted to find out is, there's a lot of not complaints, but there's a lot of different things of legal items that are going on. And I understand you cannot talk about certain items, but I think if there is something that is brought to the town, there should be some kind of notification to say who is bringing it to the town and what the kind of situation it is with the town. I mean, I'd like to just find out the forensic audit, and I've talked to Rebecca many times, and we've gone many years on this. There needs to be a recap of what's happening, maybe an agreement to find out what is happening between the forensic audit, what has been signed, what has not been signed, whether a final report has been submitted, and anything like that. But I think we're at the point of, we hired you guys to keep us informed of what's happening. And it just seems that I'm hearing a lot of things that may be happening in the background, but it's not being brought to the public's attention. And the last thing is, first of all, I appreciate bringing up the ATVs at the beginning of the meetings. It has quieted down in my section of town a lot. There's still a few out there that are rednecks and that are doing what they want to do. But I really appreciate the knowledge that you guys are doing to just bring it out to the forefront that there is a certain traffic ordinance. We, the people, are willing to work with everyone out there. And if they respect our desire to have peace and quiet, we'll respect them wanting to get from one place to another. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Can I speak, please?
Yes, you may.
Number one, I apologize. I thought I was muted when I gasped at the use of that word. I did not like that. Number two, yes, I've spoken, and I'll take this opportunity to say it again. I've spoken to Jim many times. He's reached out to me many times about the forensic audit. And what I say to him all the time, and what I've said to anyone who asks, is I want nothing more than to never say the word forensic audit again. And I wish I could say everything and anything about, it's but I want to encourage everyone that it is not the fault of this board, the delay. It has been ongoing. It is a high matter of frustration. And I can't wait to speak candidly and openly on this matter.
All right, but can I just add 1 second? Is there a final audit that has been presented to the town? And has there been a signed agreement between the auditor and us to accept what he has submitted to us?
Here is what I've said to Jim before, and I will say it again now. This is illegal, and I cannot answer those questions.
Well, then we're getting to the point of just saying that
This isn't a discussion.
Rebecca, we're not gonna go back and forth. This is public
Thank you.
comment, not debate.
and it's fine.
Thank you.
Good night. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Is there
Thank
anybody
you.
else out there? Please raise your hand and please state your name, full name. Megan, is there anybody else?
No one else is raising their hand.
All right, thank you. Can I please have a motion to go into executive
I
session?
move we go into executive session for legal with the town health officer,
Second that.
Fred Miller.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Yeah, okay, we're out of executive session into regular session?
Yep.
Okay, Mike,
I move to pursue a condemnation order on lot 68 Burdick's Trailer Park via the Board of Health.
Have a good night.
What was that?
Megan, are you letting people in?
I don't.
Yes.
Okay.
They're in.
We're back into regular session,
I don't
correct?
think you can do that until it convenes the Board of Health.
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, we can.
We're not doing a condemnation order, we're moving to pursue.
Okay,
To pursue it.
all right.
I move to pursue a condemnation order on lot 68 Burdick's Trailer Park via the Board of Health.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any other business before this board?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You like, let Angie go.
Recording stopped.